The story about the solar egg, it's quite long and meandering, because we started to work with climates as a performative part of our art early in the 1990s. We did so-called climate chambers, where you actually went in and experienced extreme climates like wind, ice and heat. And in 1998 we did a big installation for the Swedish National Committee in Lisbon during the World Expo. We did 4 big eggs with climates inside the eggs, sort of relating to the 4 different seasons. And when we were discussing the brief with Riksbyggen and Furniture, who are the communication bureau that worked with this solar egg project, they had an idea that they wanted to make a sauna. So we started to brainstorm, and the egg popped up there somewhere in the discussion. And well, that was one idea. Maybe we could make an egg as a climate chamber again, and then the shape, I would say, sort of derived from another project where we were doing a big iceberg for this hospital, which also had this sort of faceted structure. And then it was the mirror. There was this special material from Taiwan, the golden mirror. So there was, like, several factors discussing back and forth that sort of was coming together into this idea. So it is a long-term idea, sort of background, and then some new ingredients.
Because we have done quite a lot of public art that we call like social sculptures. That the sculpture became like a meeting point for people to gather around and sit down or whatever, mostly sitting down. And this solar egg, a sauna, is a very social sculpture. And that's also one of the purposes from Riksbyggen also, that people should get together and sit there and discuss the big changes that they have ahead of themselves when they're going to move their whole city. So it's a big thing for all the people that lives up there, and this is a possibility for them to actually, in another way, sitting down in a more relaxed circumstances and just ventilate their feelings of the big changes of the city.
And of course the sauna is, a very sort of normal situation to meet one another up in Norrland. I mean, everyone has a sauna, basically. So that was also a big challenge. How can we make a sauna that is more special and to make people come and wanting to experience this? And also in the winter landscape, you have these extreme differences in heat and cold, and that is exciting. This is something we want to investigate, how we can use a complete experience in our artworks.
Because the climatic chambers we did, we were thinking quite a lot about how different climate affects you. If you're walking into a cold room, how does that affect your way of thinking, your ideas? One room with a storm, or one room with like this, with fog, and one room that is really warm. I mean, it's hard to get really angry when it's like 75 degrees. You relax in a totally different way, and probably some special discussion is coming out from that. But it would be interesting to transform the room into minus 30 degrees over like 50 minutes time, just sweating, and all of a sudden you start shivering from the temperature. But that's a dream we have been having for a long time. So when the technique is developed, we probably will do it.
And then also you also mentioned about
Fridge sauna.
The location Kiruna. There is some ecological problem with the mines. There are many mines, and the communities conflict with the communities. So could you tell us about that story?
Well, Kiruna city is based upon the mining. Without the mine, which is one of the greatest finds in the world, there wouldn't be any city. So for over 100 years, people have been completely dependent upon the mining, and now when they want to extract even more of this mine, the ore is coming diagonal under the city. So that's why they have to move the city in order to dig up that very deep down. And of course, this is a paradox. I mean, we are depending on this mine, and of course the mining affects also the environment. So there is also a discussion, of course, within the egg, within this heated climate, that extraction of natural resources, specifically using a lot of carbon dioxide, of course, affects the climate. And the part of the world that are mostly affected is the Arctic. As the Earth is heating up because of the greenhouse effect, you'll see the biggest changes in the Arctic, which is interesting to discuss also in the sauna.
And then, how is the reaction from the community people, and then the mining, the entrepreneur? So, are there some reaction from them? Are there some people sit down in the solar sauna and discuss it already or not? So, how it works with the local people, and then the local entrepreneur or miner, or so how it works with the local community?
We were there too short to actually really have the proper answer for that. We met some people. They admired the egg, the first thing, so there was a lot of discussion about the egg, of course. Have you tried sauna yourself?
Sure.
Yeah.
In Korea also there are many saunas, but it's a little bit different from the northern Europe. Yeah.
But Korea is like my dream. In New York, you have the spa castle, the Korean spa castle. It's amazing. They have like 10 different saunas. It's the crystal sauna, it's the gold sauna, it's the desert sauna, and the cryo sauna, which is an ice. And I always go there. I love the Korean spa. We always do the towel thing, you know, you fold the towel and walking around looking like Mickey Mouse. So I think Korea must be extremely good in the sauna, and also in the experimental sauna thing.